really build something for the community. A real environment where I can bring everybody together and hone in really on what you were saying last time, the cohorts, the connection, the peer learning.
Because we need that ecosystem of high-performing individuals that push each other towards excellence.
This edition will be more like, okay, what is innovative, but what is already applied in the field? I think that's an important distinction.
Welcome to the Revenue Discussion Podcast. This is episode 30. And every 5 episodes, Martin and I give a little behind the scene of what is happening at Usights. And so welcome back, Martin.
Thank you very much. I have to say, it doesn't feel like a long time ago. Normally, when I come back after those 5 weeks, I feel like, it's been a couple of months that I've been here. But now it feels like yesterday. And therefore, it was it feels like home. Nicely said. And because of that, I was rewatching actually the last episode. And something I didn't remember, that episode aired just before the We Are Sales afterwork. So maybe a good point to start is, what did you think of the event?
Dude, the event was amazing. If I recall it well, I think we were with 85 sales leaders. And I say sales leaders, but there were also a lot of individual contributors, mostly account executives that were present during the day. But really, the vibe was so great, man. We did it in Brussels at the Googleplex office. And yeah, we started out with a networking game. We had prepared some sales dilemma, and people had to choose whether they choose, option A or option B in those dilemmas, but always sales related. Of course, that makes it more easily to connect with the people that you have around your table when you play that game. And then we moved to the other room where we had 2 amazing speakers. Sophie, coming from VMware, that now actually stopped her position there as country manager, and all the reasoning why and how that process went into. How she went through the process. And then also Jeroen van Gotsenhoven, that, gave us a lot of interesting insights to attack enterprise sales. Very interesting. I think that a lot of people were taking notes during his keynote. And so having that combination of great networking, great speakers with interesting insights, and then ending the evening with a little party, little after work, was something that kind of resonated with the people there. What did you think of it?
I think you said well in the beginning, the vibe was amazing. And for me, the unexpected thing was that the match was so good between the leaders and the account executives, I guess salespeople, I would call them more, in the field. It's a bit of a surprise, and I think it opened our eyes a bit that we want to experiment more with that, like the combination of the two. As long as everybody is a high performer and everybody wants to improve, there is no problem in mixing them. I think that's something we saw during that day, and that was amazing. Mm-hmm. Maybe to the second question, I also asked in last episode, which was your favorite podcast of the last month?
As always, I always like all the episodes, but if I would have to choose one, I would say the one with Christophe Bostin from Showpad, because he came with some polarizing statements, actually. For instance, and the one that's actually also one that I shared on LinkedIn and got a lot of reaction on, but was that the relationship seller is dead, and that now we are more moving towards the remote seller in the sales organization, and that has, of course, implication also on the sales profile that you need to hire. And I think that was kind of a polarizing statement, but because of course in sales you still need to build a relationship, you still need to create that trust with your prospect, with your clients. But yeah, and that was just one example. And I think if people would love to re-listen or listen to an episode, I would definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, I think it was interesting, and also because of I would say a bit of the discussion that came afterwards on LinkedIn. All people were reacting on it. I think one person said it good. I don't know if it was Luc or Peter. Like, his reasoning for saying that was because the customer wants it. And that was for me the very interesting thought. Like, there was a reason behind it. And if you just take the statement of like the relationship selling is dead, it seems very polarizing. But if you go back to the reasoning, you can really see the way of thinking, and that's what I really liked about it. Like, polarizing on the surface, but if you listen to everything, it's actually pretty logical what he was saying. So that's really nice.
Totally. Now, Martin, last episode, we talked about a lot about the partner first strategy. But how is it like now? Is that still the case, or what way are we moving now towards?
Yeah, there has been quite some movement. Actually, last episode we already knew there was something in the works. We just got a loan for 40,000 euros, which will help us a lot in growing, and which will also let us change the strategy a little bit. Partner first is a bit gone, I would say, but we still no worries. We still work a lot with partners, but it's more like we work with partners on a normal amount. We're not gonna push to too many partnerships, just a healthy amount of like we do one thing a month with a partner when it seems like it's not too sponsored. We just work with brands we really align with companies we really align with. So they give extra funds to the community and we provide with value to the community. But at the same time, thanks to the loan, we can focus a bit more on everything we're building right now. And I
Which
think
is
which is that's a good point. I think the focus right now, because like that was also the theme of last episode, focus must be better, and I think we really did a good work last month of really focusing on the things we have to focus on. First, the events that are coming. So like today we have an event, and in January we have an event. But at the second time, really build something for the community, a real environment where we can bring everybody together and hone in really on what you were saying last time, the cohorts, the connection, the peer learning.
hmm yeah, that definitely, and I think also moving away from being a community to really building out that collaborative learning community where it's in the first place about learning and growing, and in the second place connecting, networking, and stuff like that. And I think indeed creating that virtual environment, but also I would say methodology. I don't know if that's a right word, but in essence, to really have that way of working so that this collaborative learning is possible. And
Yeah, and I think also mainly, like you said, the most important thing is that this learning is on a systematic basis. They have a clear system in it. I think that's the word you've been searching for, like
yeah,
a system of working. Like we do one cohort every quarter, that everybody knows what they're working on that quarter, and that they're connecting with only a couple of people, so that you really can build a closer relationship with those members.
hmm
And I think this also builds forwards on the like the commercial strategy. I would say more. We always thought like, okay, let's sell to companies because in the end, I think we were convinced that companies have to pay for the advancement of their people. But with the community, it's often seen like, oh, the individual has to pay for it. But if it's really learning, but just not in the traditional way of learning, you do a course and that's it. No, learning from each other, learning from an external expert that comes in to help the community. In that way, it's logical that companies will pay for it. And I think this awareness will change much more with our clients and with the prospects.
exactly. Yeah, people are still perceiving us as a community and therefore don't see us as an alternative for a regular sales training because you have a lot of sales training that is being purchased for the sales team. But of course, they don't think of a collaborative learning community. While, in our opinion, this is actually maybe an even better offering, or at least let's say complementary to it, because a sales trainer will most probably push forward one methodology, one way to do it, while in that collaborative learning community, it's about a mix of techniques, best practices, failures that people have gone through, and also a thing that we will add on the offering, our system of working, is really also the coaching on the deal, coaching on your specific skill set, competencies that you are building. And so I think that this is also an element, an element worth to mention. And yeah, I think, we still need to kind of shape the offering, or at least shape our system in the way that we believe is also best for the community, but also with the feedback of the community, of course. And yeah, I think it makes sense for us to put all the focus on that for now.
That's it, and that's what we're doing now. So we won't reveal everything right now because we're still like working on it. We have a vision now, I would say it, and let's put it into practice the coming month. I think next month we will be able to explain more how we will do it and what our vision is and what we have put into practice already, and then we can test it with the first couple of clients, I would say. with
Hmm.
our beta testers, I will call them, to see how the platform works, what they want more, how we can improve this, and just like you say, make combination between community, learning, and knowledge, I would say. And I think you said it very well. People are also wanting it much more, like learning from each other, etc. But the question is always, how can we do this? And how can we do this on a sustainable way? I think that's what we want to offer.
Hmm.
And like you say, we are complementary with the trainers. But the thing is, there's enough ways to learn. And I think we can just open a new one.
Yeah, definitely. And you also said something interesting there that we will not push it. It's not like we want to make it happen tomorrow already. We're going to work with beta testers that will be part of those cohorts, that will be part of the coaching sessions, and will require their feedback before we can even actually launch the thing. So for the
That's
moment
it.
being, people can become member, but that's more member of the community. Regarding that, this collaborative learning community, if we launch it well. We want to make sure that it resonates with our DL clients. And yeah.
That's it. And that's also still next side I think we have to do is like, who is the exact person we want to focus on in the beginning? We now know we want to focus more on like the cohort-based learning aspect. Who is then the exact person? Is it? I think it will be more the sales professional, but we still have to see about that, and that's also what we have to test in the market. And I think all of this is possible again thanks to the loan. It gives us a bit of breathing room of like we can pay our wages for the next year, I would say, and we can just make sure that in 6 to 12 months there is something in place that we can say, okay, if a team enrolls here, we know we can make the high performers even better. I think that's maybe an important next point. Focus still remains on high performance.
100%. Yeah, I think that's super important. And I know that people might be thinking now, yeah, but if you're focusing on selling your offering to sales team, but you still want to create a community with only high performers, what if there are people that are not this high performant, or I will say ambitious, driven in the community, because a sales team becomes now, part of the community? I think we have some system in place there as well to give people the chance to test the community out, but doesn't mean that per se everyone needs to become part of the community. We will still make sure that the people that are in the community are people that identify themselves to a certain level, at least, as a high performer or a high performer to be, that they know they will have to work hard on themselves. They value lifelong learning. They want to get coached. They want to follow trainings. They just want to become better at their craft. And those are the people that we need in the community, because we need that ecosystem of high performing individuals that push each other towards excellence. And of course, you
That's it.
don't have to be excellent. You don't have to be perfect, but that it's just a mentality. It's a mindset. It's that willingness to grow as a person, as an individual.
That's it. And also, we will align our interests with the ones of the high performers and with the company, with everything we have in mind. But I think we will talk about it more once it's completely in stone,
Yeah.
set in stone, and we know how it will be exactly. So what we're saying then is how it will be, so companies can prepare for it and people can prepare for it.
And also to come back on we don't want to push it. We don't want to make it happen tomorrow. When I also link back to the previous podcast, we have to select our focus right. We don't want to have too much on our plate at the same time. And soon we also have the We Are Sales to announce again for next edition. So what can you say about that, Martin?
Yes, I think behind the scenes we're doing a lot of preparations already. I think the biggest announcement will be next week or in 2 weeks, and it will be the starting of the search for speakers. And in this announcement, we will also announce the location where we will hold it, because we will make a video this week on the location with an announcement for the search of speakers. So it will be interesting.
All right, so this is kind of a spoiler alert. If you want to be a speaker at We Are Sales, where if you think that you have some very interesting insight, a system, a methodology, a use case that the community could benefit from, stay aware, because we will post something very soon. And who knows, you might actually be on stage at the We Are Sales conference.
Yeah, because I think that's a cool thing. I think this edition will be even much more focused, and we will have maybe fewer sessions than last time. Even there will be more people, just because we're gonna make the sessions a bit longer, more time for discussion, for Q&A, for the the experience exchange, as we will call it. And therefore, we can be very selective in everything we do. So, and who we choose to be on stage, so that will be very nice, I would say.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, now we're still kind of, I mean, we're still juniors in a sense that, I mean, we are only 2 years in, active in the field of sales. And I remember last year we organized some sessions, very interesting sessions actually, but still they were kind of basic in the sense that, we had a session about channel sales, we had a session about pipeline management, in which they are, I mean, while they are all very very important, very useful, and a lot of people are still interested in them. I think now for next edition, we are going to look into what are really innovative ways to approach sale. What are things that people are talking about, but they don't know what they are talking about really, and stuff like that. Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, like you said, well, I think this year, I would say this year, of course, last edition,
Last
it was
edition.
more about the building stones of sales, I would say, and some innovative topics. I think this edition will be more like, okay, what is innovative, but what is already applied in the field. I think that's an important distinction. It's not like we'll talk about Web3 just to talk about Web3. It has to be Web3 applied in sales. That we feel like, okay, there is a use case. There is some example of how it is done. And I think that stays the focus of everything we do. And if we can combine it with innovative things, then we are achieving what we want to achieve, and that's being the I would say it innovator in the space, bringing the brightest minds, the best examples forward, and that will be a big exercise for us, and mainly me because I'm busy with speakers, of finding those people. And I think hopefully, like the next announcement in 2 weeks will help us in finding those hidden gems.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely curious how this will evolve, but I'm super psyched, man. I cannot wait to already have this We Are Sales conference again. Last time was such a pleasure to have it. Um, I am aware that it will still require a lot of effort, time, energy, resources, probably a lot of stress here and there. But yeah, I'm super curious to see because last time it was the first time we still had to, you know, create a brand, create awareness, make people aware, make people believe this. There will actually be a conference. Now people know us already, or at least a part of the the sales leaders out there, they know us already. And so I'm kind of curious in what way it will be different now.
Yeah, I think this edition is confirmation. That's the most important thing we have to see. We can't get too excited already. We need to be stay like grounded. Like we can't. We have to prove it's not a fluke. We have to say like, okay, we did it once. It was a success. Let's now build upon it. Show that we are for real. That the first edition was good, but we can do even better, and that we can even bring more people to the event because our network has grown. I hope our like awareness of our community has grown as well. So that's why I hope it will like like carry over to the conference, and then we can double the attendance. That's the goal. It's a bold goal, but that's what we have to achieve.
Definitely. I mean, if we wouldn't work with bold goals, we wouldn't get motivated for it, Martin. So I think, all right. Well, I think this kind of rounds up this discussion for the 30th episode. Martin, thank you to come back on the show, but we'll see you probably in a month from now again.
That's it. And I won't be in Belgium. That's also a spoiler.
Oh, teaser. Martin, have a good one.
See you soon.